there, my name is Don. I'm the inventor of YARDLOCK. So today we're at Ed's house. A buddy of mine, Ed, asked me to help install his yard lock. And he called me and he said, I have a real problem. I don't know how to install it because there's not enough room to install it. So this is Ed's gate, and this is what he has right now to open his gate. And the problem Ed has is that he doesn't have room to mount the yard lock here because it's only 1.5 inches wide on a 2x4. So today we're going to install a 2x6 here, which will give him lots of space to put the yard lock on, and it's also going to act as a door stop. Hey, speaking of door stops, you know when you go into your house, you have a trim around your door inside. Well, that's your door stop. So when the door slams all the way to the door, it doesn't go onto your lock. In this case here, you have a heavy wood gate and it's slamming, and you have a latch here, which takes all the weight from the weight of the gate when the wind catches it and it slams. So we're going to have a 2x6 we mount here, so when the gate closes, it hits the 2x6, acts as a door stop, and it also provides enough room for Ed to have his new yard lock. So we're going to start by installing that. Okay, so now it's nice and solid. So when the gate closes, it now will hit the 2x6, and that's your new door stop, and it gives you room to mount the yard lock. Okay, so for the next step, we're going to drill a hole through the post. Before we do that, we need to position the yard lock onto the post. So to do that, we're going to open the lock. We'll place it here. You want about a finger width out from the wall. We're going to mark our hole here. We draw a line on the side. And the reason the line is important is that you want to drill a hole just a little bit to the left of the hole that's in the back of the yard lock. Okay, so now we're going to drill our hole through the post. We marked it here on the side. We're going to go straight through so it comes out here. The next thing you want to do is we mark the center hole of the lock. You want to drill a hole in line with the hole you just drilled. And we're going to go in like this now. So that hole then meets up with the hole we just drilled through here. So now when we go to install the latch, we push the wire through here and we have it pop out here. Okay, so now we've finished drilling our hole through the post, and it's time to install the wire. So see how the wire is curved a little bit here? When we go to push it into the hole, we're going to go like this, and it should pop out right there. And that's the middle of where the lock is. Now what you want to do before you mount your latch is you want to make sure that this is positioned properly, like that. You'll notice it's spring loaded. There's a spring actually built inside of the latch, so it's completely spring loaded. Okay, so now we have the latch installed. The next thing to do is install our latch bar. You'll notice that when we install the backstop for the gate, it doesn't line up anymore, so you can't install that. So we need to add a block of wood in here now to bring it out so we can line this up properly with the latch. Now when we take the latch bar, we want to push it up here now so it lines up nicely like this. Okay, so we're now going to mount that. You'll notice when I install this, it's lined up directly with the latch, and it meets up in the center of the latch nicely. Okay, now for the finishing touches on the inside, we want to put our latch cover on. So we're going to open our gate, and now we're going to put the latch cover over top. And this is a little security feature, so to help prevent someone reaching over to opening the latch. And now the inside is finished. Okay, so now we have our latch installed. So we have our latch cover, our latch, the wire through the post, and now the best part, the most exciting part about installing the actual lock itself. So now what we do is we feed the wire through the hole of the back of the yard lock. We then mount it to the post. We're going to mount 4 screws in, but be very careful not to over tighten the screws, because you can cause the lock to twist, and we don't want that to happen. So we're going to just put the 4 screws in now. We'll get that done, and as soon as we're done with the 4 screws, we're then going to feed the latch wire through the 2 posts in the back of the lock. So again, you don't want to over tighten the screws, just a little bit. like this. Just like that. And now what we do is we loosen the 2 screws in the back of the lock. Okay, once you back off these screws, then you're going to feed the wire through the hole in the back of the lock. So now we've fed the wire through the 2 posts. You want to pull it through nice and tight. And then what you need to do is pull it tight until the latch is fully open. It's just tighten this screw, just snug. You don't want to go too tight, just snug. And as soon as that one's tight, then you can feed it underneath itself, like this. Okay, there we go. And the key now is to pull it nice and tight. And once it's pulled tight here, then we can tighten our second screw. And then the best thing to do is take the remainder of the wire and push it into the back of the lock in the hole, and that way it doesn't get stuck between the front of the lock and the back of the lock. There we go.